welcome to the Deep Thots podcast, episode 3.
The second episode 3.
Yeah. Last one was going to be episode 3, but it's a bonus episode, so you're welcome.
We did 3 in 1 week, and then we took a week off because we were exhausted.
So a lot has happened in the past few days, and also the last few hours. We just watched Cars 3
so
for the second
that's my
time.
week.
Yeah. That was my plans for today.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of Cars 3, Zach?
Yeah, first off, let's start off with, instead of the yay or nay, because I think we're ditching that one now.
Okay.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10?
Yeah.
Compared to the Zombies movie, because I gave that a 5, I'd give this a 6.5.
6.5?
6.5.
I'll just go with 6, just to be different.
Fine then.
Well, what did you like about this movie? I thought it looked really nice.
Oh yeah, well, I was telling you at one point in the animation they show a puddle of water, and it's probably the best animation I've ever seen in a movie. So I mean, that was
the only thing
watch.
that kind of topped that was like The Incredibles 2 short when they're like making like the food or something, and it just looks basically like they took pictures almost and animated it, and it just looks like super real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, from the.
They look just insane.
Yeah, Pixar's really up in their game these last.
On the shorts at least.
Yeah, these last few movies.
And I had a. Well, I guess we'll get into it, but I guess we'll talk about what this movie's even about.
Yeah, so basically, Cars 3 is just about...
Owen Wilson's washed up.
Yeah, Lightning McQueen is just a washed-up racer. He's trying to win the Piston Cup, but he can't do it because the new and improved new mechanic cars are just so much better and so much faster. They're basically on steroids.
Yeah, I was basically saying it's like he's playing in the steroid era baseball. He's going up against Mark McGwire every single time he races.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still finishing top 5, but people are like, you should retire.
He's like, I'm not MVP, I better just give up.
Yeah, you're better than like 25 racers, but you're not better than the top 4, so just give up.
And he's like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
Time to just drive off a bridge.
Yeah.
Just end it all.
Yeah, this movie really inspired me. So I'm quitting all my dreams.
Yeah.
I just can't be the best, so might as well just quit.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone listening has ever seen the first one. I think most people have actually at least seen the first one, maybe not the second. So. But yeah, if you remember, Doc is the main
Doc
racer
Hudson.
that trains him. And he's not in 2 or 3, but they bring him up in this movie. We counted,
12 times. So
right.
in Cars 2, apparently they mention at the beginning of the movie that they basically just say like, oh, like we missed Doc, I wish he was here. So they basically just imply that he's dead. That was at the beginning of Cars 2, and then they don't mention him for the rest of the movie.
Well, the reason that he's not in any of the other ones is because the voice actor Paul Newman died.
Yeah. And so
I found that out on the Wikipedia page. You can look up Doc Hudson. There's a whole Wikipedia page about him.
So they don't mention him in Cars 2, and then all of a sudden in Cars 3 they think it's just a great idea just to mention it 12 times.
The nostalgia.
In the yeah, like it basically, they talk about Doc at the beginning and like, oh man, I miss him, like I wish he was here. Kind of like how, not really, more than what they did in the second one. Then they have about 20 or 30 minutes of just regular movie, and then for the rest of the movie, it's just paying homage to Doc. It's ridiculous. They just constantly go like...
It's basically like this whole movie was made for Paul Newman.
Exactly.
In memoriam.
Yeah.
But it was the third one and not the second one. They're like, screw him on the second one.
They just decided, for the second one, let's do a British spy film, but with cars.
Yeah, that was
the
garbage.
Dumbest thing I've ever seen, yeah.
But I made a funny joke, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, let's hear it, Zach.
Some people, I think, would classify this as a comedy, but I would call this a documentary.
Welcome to the Deep Thots podcast.
We call it the Doc Thots podcast.
That was pretty good.
Thanks, Blake.
Not really. Well,
I didn't think about that one beforehand. I thought about that one right now.
Yeah, I wish we would have left it as a surprise. So speaking of Cars 3, I'm a big Pixar fan, Zach. As you can see, if you can't, you guys can't see this, but I'm wearing my Uzma Kappa shirt.
I guess just Disney in general. I mean, you had a whole blog about the original movies, and now
yeah, it's quite.
Disney's been
it's a wide spectrum, yeah. But Pixar, I've always been a big pack of
Pixar fan.
A big fan of Pixar movies. So I actually made a list of my. So there's 20 Pixar movies, so that makes it easy.
Really? Is there only that many?
There's 20 of them. I mean,
I know, but I mean, it feels like for how long they've been around, you'd think that there would be more. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think they started production, I think, in 1995. And so...
Yeah, it's been 23 years.
Almost one a year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They seem like a studio that would just be pumping out shit like 5 times a year, like every month.
But that's what sets Pixar above the rest.
I guess that's DreamWorks.
Yeah, fuck DreamWorks. But
and their Planes movie.
Yeah, no, regular Disney made Planes. It wasn't Pixar. It was just regular Disney.
Oh, I never even saw that movie, so I don't even know if it's good. Nah, I would assume it was shit.
Yeah, so I made a list of the 20 Pixar movies in order, and so we're gonna do a little weekly read off of my 20, and I'm going to explain. So I'm going to start from the worst and go to the best. So this will take about 5 weeks.
This is very official that he wrote it on the back of a receipt that I got at a Honda dealership.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't have any paper.
I put it on my phone. It was about to die. I don't have my charger, so I wrote it down on this nice...
I'll be sure to take it in next time when I go in there. Like, why is all these Pixar movies on the back of this? Don't worry about it. Follow Deep Thoughts Podcast.
Exactly. Okay, so I guess we could just get started. Right. So welcome to the Pixar...
Welcome to Deep Thoughts Podcast.
Yeah, welcome to
episode 3, part 2.
Yeah, welcome to Blake's Pixar story, I guess. My Toy Story. Okay, so...
Moving on.
Yeah, so for my 20th ranked movie, so the worst movie that Pixar's
So you're going from worst to best, and you're only going to do a few of them.
Yeah, I'll do 5 each episode.
We're not going to take up the entire podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to the 3-hour Pixar podcast. So
paying how much to die?
Oh, we missed Doc. So for number 20, the worst Pixar movie is Cars 2. We talked about it earlier. It's really fucking stupid.
Maybe that'll be our talking point for the start of next episode. I don't know. We'll go backwards. We'll do Cars 2 and then Cars 1.
Yeah. We'll just go back. So we'll go from Cars 3 to Cars 2 to Cars 1 and just go back in time.
Well, I have a question for you. Did any other public opinion sway your opinion? Like, did you look up like the Metacritic score on any of these, or these?
For Cars,
just on like this list. Did you
really?
Did you just go by what you thought?
Well, I don't know.
Because sometimes it's kind of hard to like once you see that rating, it kind of affects your opinion.
Well, it's really tough, especially with Pixar, because I really like a lot of the sequels. Not Cars 2, fuck that movie. But a lot of the other sequels I think are really good. But I think it's hard to put them ahead of the originals just because of how classic they are. For rewatchability, I think, like, I'm not going to name any movies. I don't have it. No spoiler alerts with my list. This is very official, but like some.
I mean, most people have probably seen at least most of these.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to tell them the order. But so like some movies I think are a lot more fun to watch, but they're not as good as others just because they're just, I don't know, more nostalgic and just more classical, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So number 20, Cars 2. So Cars 2, yeah, how we said, it's basically just like a British spy flick, but with cars.
And Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, and Owen Wilson.
Spy on.
Yeah, it really makes no sense. Like they just
he really blends in with all the British actors.
Yeah, they make a movie all about Mater, and then Lightning McQueen is like at the end of the first movie, he's just a nice guy, and he's like, oh, like I love you guys, and all of a sudden the second movie, he's like, fuck you, Mater, like why are you ruining this for me? It's geez, what a dick.
We have to put a focus on Larry the Cable Guy. This is at like the peak of his popularity.
Yeah,
Tooth Fairy 2's about to come out.
Yeah, we were looking up Larry the Cable Guy's cinematography before this, and it's not.
Yeah,
not
he's basically only done Mater for the last 5 years, so
yeah.
This is all he's got.
Good for him. So yeah, number 20, Cars 2. I think we can all agree on that. 19, The Good Dinosaur. Have you seen that?
I've never even heard of it. Actually,
really? It came out a few years ago.
Oh, briefly. I think I saw the trailer, but I didn't even know that was Pixar.
Yeah. There's nothing special. Like,
yeah, apparently I didn't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was like I don't know. It made sense like it was a kids movie.
What was it about?
Basically, just about if the meteor that killed the dinosaurs missed, then dinosaurs would have evolved to be just super smart, and they like would garden their own stuff and like make food, and then the kid dinosaur meets a caveman kid, and basically like the caveman kid's like a pet to the dinosaur. It's and then they just kind of travel and they try to get to the kid back to their parents, and then the dinosaur's dad dies. It's like Lion King. It's just
so it wasn't that great.
No, but the reason for it is because I looked it up because I was so pissed. I was like, why the fuck was this movie so bad? It's a Pixar movie. Cars 2 is a fluke, but why is this so bad?
Cars 2 is a fluke.
Yeah, and so I looked it up, and apparently halfway through the developing of it, they realized that it was like too adultish for kids. So they switched directors or something to make it more kid friendly.
Oh,
so they just made it. Yeah, so they just made it like a really cliche kids movie, and I was like,
well, I guess we say The Good Dinosaur is a bad movie.
Also, I wish I would have confronted this lady. When I was watching it, I sat in the back row because I love sitting in the back row. And this freaking mom, because there's a bunch of kids there. This mom was just staring at her phone the whole entire movie and never put it down. Literally just with the brightness up, just looking just right at her phone right in the back row.
Was she like in front of you? Or?
No, she was just to the side of me, but it still like distracted me.
Yeah.
I was getting so fucking pissed. I was like, she just brings our kids there and just like, oh, you know, my kids, they won't care. They won't even realize. Yeah. Gosh, fuck that lady. So
I bet she listens. It listens in.
Yeah, I hope so. If you were at the...
I mean, if you were on your phone just looking at all of our Instagram and Twitter posts, I guess we can forgive you for that before you even was
that's
created.
True. If you're in a movie and you're looking at our listening to a podcast during the movie, then
no earphones or anything.
Yeah, no earphones. Just out of the phone.
They said sounds my ringer, but not my audio.
Yeah, I brought me on boombox. So for 18, the third worst Pixar movie I have is Cars 3, which we just watched and we talked about. Which honestly.
I mean, that means it's a pretty good list when this movie wasn't even terrible.
Exactly,
like
it was pretty tough.
Bottom three.
People are gonna get angry with my bottom of my list, but I mean,
all these get angry.
There's gonna be a boycott of our podcast.
We're gonna go from 5 followers to 4.
Exactly. My mom's gonna unfollow us. So yeah, Cars 3. It wasn't that bad. I mean, like if it went straight from Cars to Cars 3, it would have been a way better franchise than what it is now. Because Cars 2 just ruined everything. So
Cars 2 just ruined everything.
Oh man. So we already talked about Cars 3, Doc, and everything. So that's my number 18.
Basically, all we mentioned was Doc was in it. That's it. We just moved on.
That's all you did.
Doc's in the movie a lot. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, 6.5. But so yeah, if it's 6.5 out of 10 is my third worst Pixar movie, then it's a pretty good list. So stay tuned. So
yeah. By the way, I have no scaling for this. For this rating system, I'm just like, oh, that's 6. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
First number that comes to mind.
Like a movie that's way
There's
better
no
than Cars 3
formula
would be like a 6.
I should do uber specific where it's like, oh, it says like a 6.2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a strong 6.2.
Yeah. Gosh.
I hate those rating scales.
I know, it's so stupid. So for number 17, now this could stir some trouble. I have.
Please don't come and find us.
Yeah. You don't know my name. Don't listen to their episodes. So number 17 is Brave. You ever see Brave, Zach?
No, I remember seeing commercials for it, and then they came out with the Temple Run Brave mobile game, and I was like, why?
Yeah. So Brave was basically the exact same as Brother Bear, to where the mom switches body with a bear, and then the daughter realizes, oh, that's my mom. I need to save her. It's just pretty much a lot of family drama type stuff.
Oh man, I really did not know anything about this movie.
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea.
It was just weird.
I thought it was just an action movie with some kid.
No, it was a girl, Merida.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I knew it was a girl, but I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so basically it's just her finding herself being an archer
and finding out that she's brave.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just taking a guess that she finds that out.
Yeah, there were some funny parts. It was really cliche, and then it just wasn't.
Noticing
special.
A trend that all these are from this decade.
Yeah, I actually, actually, I'm not gonna say that. But once I get to the top 4, there's a funny thing.
You have to wait a month for the top 4 because he's only gonna do the first one.
3 weeks from now, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out the.
Stay tuned.
Joke. Yeah. So for 16, so the last movie I'll be talking about for this episode on this list, I have Finding Dory as my 16.
And I have actually never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well it came out about last year, I think.
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Yeah. I was pretty excited for it. I don't know, I didn't have super high expectations just because of the first Finding Nemo was just so good. So when I went and saw it, it was it was good.
I almost don't even want to watch it because I'm it might even ruin the first one a little bit. Because I heard it was pretty good, but
I don't know.
Obviously a step down from the first.
Exactly, it was good. It's just there wasn't anything new. It was just just a regular Pixar movie. Cool. It was good to watch.
You pretty much know everything that's gonna happen. Just
exactly.
Just by watching it.
Just the characters were just the new ones were just so you've seen it before.
I do have a question though. Does Darla return in that movie?
No, she does not.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately,
I guess that's all I need to know. Then.
She's gonna have her own spin-off next year. Actually, I wish.
Oh, okay. I was wow.
Man. That'd be. I would go see that movie in a heartbeat.
She just goes around killing fish. Killing Nemo.
Yeah. So that's my list. So my worst 5, number 20, Cars 2, 19, Good Dinosaur, 18, Cars 3, 17, Brave, 16, Finding Dory. If you disagree, fuck off. I know Pixar, you don't. So.
Yeah, you know Disney in general. You have a blog to prove it.
Yeah, I'm
several
an expert.
thousand views
Mm-hmm.
and a 0 out of 10 to prove it. In the
Yeah,
final.
exactly. Oh man, I don't want to get back into that. So yeah, so that's a Pixar list. So tune in next week when I talk about from my 15 to 10
Blake's
Pixar
picks.
movies. Yeah, Blake's picks.
Blake's Pixar's
Blake's Pixar picks movies. Movie list.
just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of cars, how I said these last few days were a little interesting. So funny story. A couple days ago, I was driving and my car felt a little bumpy. I thought that one of my tires was just getting flat because I drove, I guess, a 1994 yeah, a 1994 Ford Explorer. It was fine. It only had like 100,000 miles, but like my back driver's seat tire would get a little flat sometimes, so I had to fill it up with air. So
was there just a hole in it, and you just never got it
No,
fixed?
well, just like, I don't know, it was just weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
It's just cursed.
Yeah. so it just like slowly get flat. And then a couple days ago, it was like feeling a little bumpy when I was driving. I was like, oh, maybe just the tire's a little flat or something. So 2 days ago, I think it was, I went to the gas station. I got air in my tire, and I was like, okay, this is
From
good.
free air.
I paid $1.50 for this shit. Yeah.
I used to love like when gas stations had a tank of air that just said free air. Like, thank God.
Oh, man. It's like the Lorax. Yeah, so I pumped up my tire and I was like, okay, this is fine. And then I drove back up north. So I was taking a back road and it was still bumpy. And I was like, well, that kind of sucks. Like, I guess I'll just, I don't know, figure it out later. Yeah, well, like, I was like, I can't pull over now. I'm on a side street. I gotta finish my adventure. So I was on the back road, and then when I was driving, my passenger front tire just launched off my car and just shot into the like bushes to the right of me.
Just imagine if this happened at like Poop Fest and just killed like 40 people.
I know. Good thing I wasn't on like a freeway or something. But yeah, so I was on. So yeah, the car.
This sounds like something from Cars, like the movie that it would happen.
The Queen's driving fast. Yeah. So my tire shut off into the bushes, but with the 3 tires, I was still able to stabilize myself and just slowly just hit into the. I didn't hit. I came to a stop and just pulled over into the dirt. Then I had to get it towed, and then it's gonna cost too much money. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe if anyone wants to help me.
You're looking to
out.
get a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, yeah. My dream car is a Dodge
Just from an SNL
Stratus.
skit.
Yeah. So there's an SNL skit with Will Ferrell where he's sitting at the dinner table and he says, "I drive a Dodge Stratus."
And he yells at it to his family like it's a big shot.
Exactly. It's the peak of comedy these days. So now I want to drive. I want a Dodge Stratus just so I can say that
and
I
you've been
drive a
thinking
Dodge
about
Stratus.
that skit came out in like 1990 something.
Something like
it's
that.
really stuck with you.
Yeah. It's been about 28 years, but yeah. So now
28 years counting.
So if anyone has a Dodge Stratus for cheap, let us know in the
DM
comments below.
DM us on Instagram or
Yeah.
something.
So that happened with my car, and then another thing that happened this weekend was I sprained my MCL. So my life's been in shambles since the last recording of this podcast. So Hoop Fest was in Spokane this week, and
What was your team name, by the way?
Life is rough.
Oh, it was just the same name.
Well,
I saw your T-shirts. I saw your.
So for our T-shirt, we got these T-shirts at Target where it's just a picture of Whitney Houston and just says Whitney. But we didn't know those were going to be our shirts before we got our name. So now our name seems pretty fucked up. Just, oh, life is rough. With a picture of Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
So
didn't she die from like an overdose?
Yeah, I think so. So it was not good if you put the pieces together. We didn't mean to do that, but...
Did anyone actually like call you out on it?
No, people liked our shirts though, but no one really knew our name. So.
Did they like announce it before the game or?
No, they're just on a little paper that you sign. But yeah, so during one of the games, the last game yesterday actually, there was a loose ball, and I'm a hustler, so I was running for the ball, and I was about to pick it up, and a guy on the other team, fuck the other team, a bunch of bitches. So I was rooting for the other team, and one of their guys dove head first, which is so stupid of him. Like, you're not supposed to do that. And he just hit me right in the knee, and it just buckled down. And I, like, felt a pop, and I was like, well, that's not good. So I was like, oh, man. And then it was, like, the beginning of the game, so, like, with adrenaline, I was still able just to, like, I don't know, like, prance around the court and, like, limp
just
around.
push through.
Yeah.
Were you, like, limping pretty bad?
It wasn't that bad. Like, once...
Probably like once you like sit down and the game's over, you feel it.
Yeah, so we lost by 2. It was a bunch of bullshit. But then I went to go watch my brother's game, and I sat down for like half an hour there. And once I stood up, I could like barely walk, and I was like, this hurts so bad. And so I went to the first aid tent. And they told me I had like an MCL sprain, and I should just rest. So
did you find what was the name of the other team? Did they ever say or anything?
of the team that we played.
Yeah.
They were called the Duck Lords. So if you're listening to this, the Duck Lords, go fuck yourself. You ruined my life.
Did they have cool shirts or anything?
They wore dresses the first day because they thought they were cool.
Oh.
Yeah. It was not. No,
so
you
were really
stupid.
intimidated.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they did that because they wanted you to underestimate them and then just went hard in the paint. Literally.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But so speaking of injuries, what are some bad injuries that you've had, Zach? I got another bad one.
Yeah, I broke a leg.
Just broke a leg.
Yeah, break a leg. I broke a leg skiing when I was like 8. Yeah, and I just remember I had some lessons. I think it was 3 days of lessons, and I got through the first one okay. And then I finished the second lesson, and then I was just kind of skiing around with my family members because I think I was with my aunt, my uncle, and my sister, and then some other family friends. And basically, when you're training, they basically don't want you to use the poles that most people use because they want you to get used to controlling.
That's so stupid.
And so I guess it was a great idea. My family thought to take me down like a huge hill, and so I'm just fucking flying down there. At first when I started going down the hill, I was turning pretty good. I was keeping up because I was riding with my uncle, and we were just kind of going back and forth, and then I started to just really pick up speed. And,
flying past your uncle there. No, Zach, no.
Yeah. Well, okay, so then the way you're supposed to brake is make your skis into a triangle.
Which is not a good lesson. That's
I learned it the hard way. It didn't
I
really
know.
work.
Well, that's like they told me that, and I was like, this does not seem safe, because like my leg almost buckled when I did that.
Yeah, so I was doing I think they called it like the pizza
move. French fry,
yeah. So I'm doing that. It's not working at all. And so I stopped doing
going
it.
50 miles an hour.
I stopped doing the pizza, and I just keep going. I was like just trying my best to just make it down the hill, and I am just fucking flying. And then I hear my uncle in the back go, drop! But I didn't drop because I was scared. And so I guess I was near like a snowbank because I was near the edge of like the hill, and I think something just caught like the back of my seat, and I just tumbled down the rest of the hill.
Gosh.
And then I just couldn't move my leg, and I had a pretty bad break in my leg. I think it was where like the boot line was. So, like, I guess there must have been just too much pressure on there when I was rolling, and it just, like, snapped my leg, kind of.
Jeez.
Like, it didn't get split in half or anything, but there was, like, a definite, like, bad, like, break indent where, like, the boot usually is.
Oh, man.
And so, yeah, that was pretty rough. I was in a cast and everything and crutches for, like, several months.
Did you use, like, a wheelchair at school a little bit, too?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I thought about that, too. I was like,
I don't know why.
A wheelchair?
I was like, I didn't have any part of this. I guess they just thought I needed a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was kind of fun just rolling around in it.
He's not bouncing up to ski. How's he going to use crutches at school?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just used that for a little while, and then I think they just wanted me to do that until I got used to the crutches.
Yeah.
Because I was, like, pretty young, so they probably didn't want me to like, use those all the time. I remember there was one time in school where I, like, tripped down the hall on my crutches, and that was embarrassing.
Break your other leg.
Yeah, but that's the only really bad one I've had. I think I've just had, like, a couple of sprains that... from like playing or from like riding bikes or whatever, but that was probably the worst injury that I've had.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I always think it's weird when people just like break like a full bone, like a leg, like that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. That was really annoying wearing that cast all the time, and then you get like those itches in your leg, and you just can't scratch them, and you're just like, fuck.
I've never had a cast, but I assume that'd be repeated.
Yeah, I had one for a while too, like several months.
Yeah. Damn. Well. My worst injury is not the MCL sprain. This happened back in 7th grade.
Not in a level 1 MCL sprain. Ooh, what a soldier carrying on.
I'm pretty tough, you know. I've had it worse than just this MCL sprain.
I've had someone headbutt my knee.
Yeah. But so this happened back in about 7th grade. So long story, not long story short.
I remember this. Yeah, I already know where this is going. What you said 7th grade.
Okay, So during the year we had this, we were playing football, and basically I was with my friend Kyle, who I've talked about earlier. But so I was playing with Kyle on our team, and he was the quarterback, and I was a receiver. We were a really good team. And so basically...
Some would say Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper.
Pretty much. It's basically, Randy Moss, Tom Brady, actually, breaking the record.
I guess.
But so basically... The first play of the game, they'd always put their just most unathletic person on me because like I don't look like I'm athletic, but you know I can play,
bust a move.
Yeah, I can play ball. So I would just line up at receiver, and me and Kyle, like every single first play, I'd just say, Kyle, I'm going deep, and he's like, yep, I got you. And then every single time, I just fucking blow past their little like little Nelson, little chubby kid or whatever. I just blow past him.
Nelson.
Yeah, and then Kyle just hit me for the touchdown every time until they finally.
And they just never thought about changing their defensive
scheme.
Well,
they would put like a better player on me later in the game, but like it's still like
too late.
Yeah, like because we had another receiver that was like more athletic than me, so they'd always have to put their second best guy on me, and I could just torch him.
And the games, was this during PE?
Yeah.
Yeah, the games were like 10 minutes because they wanted to fit in as many as possible.
Exactly. So they're pretty short. So once you got those touchdowns, it was fine. But yeah, so basically we just did that every single first play, and then there was one day where it was a scrimmage, so it was like you could just do whatever you want, like it's a free PE day. So I was like, oh, well, let's just play football again. We like picked teams. I was on Kyle's team again. I was like, awesome. First play, I even told Kyle, I was like, because Kyle was telling other people the routes, and then it was just me and him. And I said, Kyle.
Before you go on, I always get so nostalgic when you're doing like a huddle with your friends, like in elementary school, and you draw the routes on the football with your finger. Like,
I still do that whenever I just play with friends. But yeah, so I looked at Kyle. I was like, Kyle, I'm going deep. Like, just hit me or whatever. So first play, he just didn't throw it to me deep. He just threw it to someone else. And I was like, what the heck? And then second down, I was like, Kyle, I'm going deep. Went deep, didn't throw it to me. And I was like, what the fuck? Because they're putting the worst guy on me, and I blew past him every time. Third down, he didn't throw it to me on third down. So we got to fourth down, and like I don't think he completed any passes because everybody else sucked.
It's like, what did you do to Kyle that week, Blake?
I don't know. He just hated me. But and so I was like, so it's fourth down. I was like, Kyle, I'm going deep. He's like, okay, I'm gonna throw it to you this time. I was like, okay. So I was just fucking hauling ass. I was going as fast as I can to get there. But basically the way, so we play sideways on the actual football fields.
Yeah, so because they had to do like 10 games going at a time.
Yeah, and so the middle school thought it'd be a good idea to set up the bleachers since the football game, the real football game is just right after school. So during the school day, they just think, oh, it'd be a good idea to just set up the bleachers on the side of the field, right where the end zones are for the PE class. So I was just hauling ass down the field. Kyle throws it up to me. So I turned my head back, still running at full speed to see the ball, and then I catch it. And right when I turn, my shin hits the front of the bleachers, and I just full force swing my head down and just smash my nose on the bleacher. So blood just went everywhere, and I was like, I think I blacked out for like 3 seconds. It was just like went dark, and I just woke up. I could still feel the metal to this day, just like on my face. And
you still remember the sound? I still remember the play.
Well, I still remember it. I woke up, and then like there's blood everywhere. And then I remember Kyle was like oh, like you're gonna be okay, like a good friend.
You're like carrying you off. Like, yeah, you're gonna make it. Buddy, stay with me.
Well, I just started screaming at the top of my lungs because I thought I was gonna die. Like there was so much blood. I was like, oh my gosh! I was like someone help me. And so finally a PE teacher like helped me just like walk back into the room, and my nose was just so tender. Like it was just like you just barely touch it and it would hurt.
Well, I remember
so bad.
It looked pretty bad for a while.
Yeah, it was bad. So I got all like cleaned up. I washed most of the blood off my face. And so the PE teacher called my mom like, hey, Blake had a little accident in PE. Yeah, can you come pick him up? And my mom gets to the school and just sees my face. She's like, oh my god. It's like, what happened? They're just like, sorry, we didn't want to like worry you on your drive back. And so...
Sorry, we didn't want to worry you that your son had a terrible
your son
accident.
might die, so don't drive over the speed limit, lady. So we went to the hospital, and they did a bunch of tests, and I didn't have to get surgery.
Well, wasn't it one of those things where if you didn't you break it on like the angle or side or something, so you didn't need surgery, but it usually kind of like takes longer to recover, hurts more. But if you hit it head on, it probably would have hurt more at first, but would have healed faster or something like that.
It was something weird to where like it was just enough to where I didn't need surgery, but to where I looked like a fucking monster for like a month. But it would just slowly heal.
Did you miss like a lot of school? You were gone for a while, weren't you?
I thought I only missed like a day. I missed like 1 or 2 days, and I was like, because then the day I came back,
I know you came back for like the fun run.
Yeah, it was the fun run. It was like 2 days later, and I was there for like an hour, and I was like, this is awful. Like everyone just staring at me, and so I called my mom, and she just took me home, and then it was like the weekend, and then I went back, and it was fine. But the worst part about that day is I was in the children's hospital, and I just wanted to watch like cartoons or something. Like I just fucked up my face. Like why can't I just watch like SpongeBob? And that was the day that the Chilean miners were coming out of the cave.
God, what a throwback.
That they were like they made a movie out of it now.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, really, I never saw it, but I lived it.
Episode.
Yeah. So basically, they were just showing the miners coming out of the cave because they were in there for like what 30 days.
Oh, I think it was longer than that.
It was a lot.
I think it was like 2 or 3 months at least.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, yeah, so they found him, and they were just slowly bringing him out of the cave, and we were just watching the newscast, because my mom was like, this is a moment in history, we should watch this. And I was like, Mom, I just broke my nose. Like, there's so much blood.
Who cares about their pain and suffering?
Yeah.
I'm in pain.
Yeah. So that's pretty rough.
Did you get any Flintstones chewable morphine?
No.
Did you?
I think they gave me an otter pop or something. No, I didn't even get stitches.
That's pretty surprising. Usually they at least get like a couple.
I used to have a picture.
Especially when you bleed that much.
Yeah, on my old slide phone, I took a bunch of pictures of me just like with my fucked up face. I got like 2 like minor black eyes like from it.
Hashtag new profile picture.
Yeah. I wish I would have had that picture. I wonder if my mom has a picture. I need to talk to her. But yeah, it was just super.
A whole album about that.
Yeah. It was just so bad, and so my face was just swollen for like a week or 2, and it was just so bad. But now I'm fine.
Yeah, I think like when I got hurt, I missed quite a bit of school, but I think I was like really, that was back when I was smart, so I was like really far ahead in class, so they weren't even really worried about it.
Yeah.
So I just came back and I was like totally fine for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I just missed I think I missed a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, school wasn't really big. I was always like a really good student.
I remember it was really cool though. Like I got like I think the class that I was in, they made like a bunch of homemade cards.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's nice.
I didn't get any of that
Give
shit.
out soon cards, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they went to school, they're like, ew, what happened to you?
Get the fuck away from me, bastard.
Yeah.
Like Halloween was last month.
Yeah, started macing me and stuff. Yeah.
Started macing you. That's why you need glasses.
Yeah. Now my eyes are bad. I wear contacts. My nose is super sensitive. Like if I just,
it's still different to this day.
Yeah, well, it healed, but if I get hit in the face with like a basketball or something, it happens all the time. But
man, if I get hit really hard in my face, it hurts.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
For some reason, it hurts when I get hit.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, like it feels like it's worse than everybody else. Like if I get like slapped in like the cheek or something, that hasn't happened in a long time. I don't know why that.
How often do you get slapped in the cheek?
I'm a very rude person. But yeah, so if I get like slapped, it would just probably hurt like a regular person. But if it's just like a simple like rebound with the basketball, but it just hits me in the face, my nose hurts for like a good like.
So you
10
should
or
be
20
one of those
minutes.
guys that wears like a nose guard like Dwight from The Office. Where
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a nose,
I
like
need
a
to get
face
one
guard.
of those, yeah.
That'd be pretty baller. That'll be next time. Like, and then your team name will really make sense. Life is rough when you're wearing all face guards.
Yeah, next year at Hoop Fest, I'll have to wear that. Yeah, that was a rough.
What
moment.
do you think your name would have been this year if you like realized that it was that?
Probably just do it for Whitney or something. I don't know.
Because that was your Instagram photo caption, right?
Yeah. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me.
Blake's
Follow this
31
podcast.
Flavors.
That's Twitter. Yeah,
Oh.
Twitter. It's Blake's 31 Flavors.
Yeah,
It's a
you're
good-
more active on there than
It's a good
Instagram.
Baskin Robbins joke. I could tell my Baskin Robbins story.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
no, I was saving it for a special episode. I guess this will be the one. So this is the episode all about Blake's traumatic experiences. So this is probably the best story I'm ever going to tell in this podcast. So listen and turn
Grab
up
your
your
shovels.
headphones. Yeah, grab your shovels. We're getting deep. So so this is back in sophomore year of high school, I think. Yeah, sophomore year because I just got my license, and so I was with my friend Nicholas, who was a year younger than me, and 2 years younger actually. But
Well, didn't you have to pretend that he was your brother because you weren't your 6 months weren't up yet?
So basically, there's a rule in driving where you have to have your license for 6 months before you can drive your friends, which is just bullshit. Like I don't know why that's so stupid.
Well,
But-
I mean, I guess because so many teenagers like are always texting or not paying attention. Yeah, so it's a few people ruin it for everybody. That's the reason why.
I guess so. But yeah, so basically, I was driving with my friend. We were driving over by Gonzaga in Spokane. If anybody lives in Spokane is listening to this, everybody. But so I was
I
driving.
know we have some Seattle viewers apparently based on my stats.
But so we were driving back from this place called Sky High. Is a trampoline place. Doesn't matter. So we're driving back. Yeah, we're going past Gonzaga. There's a Safeway next to it, and we're just driving just a regular old night. And then all of a sudden, the car behind me is a cop, and he turns his lights on, and I'm just like, oh, well, I wasn't speeding. So but there's nowhere to pull over to let him pass. So I just pulled into the Safeway just to let him go.
Yeah.
And he followed me in, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, this cannot happen. And so I was just sitting there, and in my head, I was thinking, huh, how should I talk to him? So I'd be like, I was thinking of like intros in my head, like howdy,
Hello,
officer.
sir.
Yeah,
Howdy, officer. How do
hello,
you do?
officer. What,
I do community crimes.
Yeah, why'd you pull me over or something? And I remember Nicholas looked at me, I told him, I was like, oh man, this is bad, and he's like, just pretend I'm your brother, like, as a joke, because, it's like, whatever, it's just a cop.
Yeah.
And so I rolled down my window, and I was just sitting there waiting.
What's a cop gonna do?
Yeah, like, fuck him, I can fight him. And so it took about 20 seconds, and then I just hear from the loudspeaker from the police car, it says, put your cars, or put, it says, put your hands outside of the vehicle and put your hands up or whatever. And I was like, oh fuck. so I just reach over and just put my hands outside the car. They're just dangling there. And he's like, okay, like, turn your car off and throw your keys out the window. And I'm like, okay. So I turn it off and just toss them out there, then put my hands out there. And he's just like, okay, no.
Yeah, little do they know I have a spare set of keys to throw out the window.
I have a spare key. I can get out of here. And so they're like, okay, now open the door from the outside and put your hands up facing the opposite direction. Yeah. And so I open the door from the outside, open it up, and I step out. And I'm wearing like the dumbest shit. I'm wearing like a Thundercats hat and like athletic shorts.
What the fuck are Thundercats?
It's an inside joke. But so I'm just sitting there just with my hands up, just like in the bright lights of the Safeway parking lot, and then
under the lights.
Yeah, under the lights. So many people are just staring at me too, all these bystanders, and then the cops are just like, okay, let them take 3 steps back and 3 steps to the left, okay, and I keep doing that until I get to them, or no, before that. They're telling me to do that, and they're like, okay, pull up the collar on your jacket, because I was wearing a jacket, so like they could see if I had any like weapons on me, but I couldn't hear them because like I'm like freaking out.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, pull your collar up on your jacket, and I thought they said pull up your jacket, so I reached down to my waist, and they're like, put your hands up. So I just like flung it back up, and they're like, pull your collar, and so I did, and like showed them like my lower back, and like there's nothing there. So like, okay, like keep walking back to us. So I got back to him.
Little they know I have a minigun, a tiny little pistol in my shoe.
Yeah, I got a little squirt gun. But so then they put me on like my knees or whatever, and they like put my hands behind my back. And then I remember him talking to like another cop. He's like, okay, now we're gonna take him to the cop car. And I like at first I thought this was like a training simulation. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why are you guys doing this? Like, and so they handcuffed me, and then they walked me over to another car. And while we were walking over there, I saw this cop with a handgun pointed at my car with my friend sitting there and just staring at it, just ready to open fire. And I was like, oh my god, like Nicholas is gonna die. And so they bring me over to another cop car. They put me up on it, and they're like, okay, like we're gonna like, what do you have in your pockets or whatever? And I was like, oh, just like my phone and my wallet or whatever. So they reach in, they take it out. Like, okay, we're gonna walk over here. So they put me in the back of a cop car, and so I'm just sitting there, just handcuffed in the cop car, just listening to their stupid comedy station radio that they had on. It was just a nightmare.
Yeah, Sirius XM.
Yeah, and the seats in the cop car are not comfy. They're like the black. It's like the black foam seats from like a roller coaster. Oh, that's what they use in the back of a cop car. And like so my hands are behind my back.
Don't
like I'm not
stains
yeah, it's
there.
like I'm not flexible, so like my back is just, like my hands are just aching. And so I'm just sitting there, and then I see my friend come out of the car. He gets a look at the cops. He knows what's coming at him. I just had to back up to him.
He saw the guns pointed at him.
Yeah, exactly. He had the fun stuff. And so they walked him over to like their car. I think they handcuffed him. They put him on the hood, and they're like questioning me. Or they're questioning him, and then basically they're asking like, oh, so like what do you know about your friend or whatever? Do you need secret stuff? And like, I was with them all day. I have an alibi.
Yeah, he shines a light. Do you work for the CIA?
Yeah, just right in his face. So, and then behind him, so while they were questioning my friend, behind him, I see 4 cops just lined up, crouched over with handguns at the ready, and they go to my car and just like look through every window and just like make sure there's no one else hiding in there, and then like all they're gonna find is like my seat with like Taco Bell bags. Like it smells disgusting in there. And so I see him just like search through my whole car, and then I'm just still like sitting in the back of the car watching all this, just like, oh my god. Like at that point I was like, man, because it was a school night, and I was like, I really hope they take me to the police station.
So you just set up school?
Yeah, exactly. Just have a whole night go. And then I heard on the intercom, they're like, okay, so what's the attributes of the suspect? And they're like, oh, it's a 6'4" black male wearing a hoodie. And we're like 2 short white kids. It's like shouldn't you have known this before you like arrested us and like pointed guns at us?
So like the only lead they had was a blue truck SUV in the area?
So my car master description, they said it was like a blue. I drove a blue Chevy Blazer at the time with like a white sticker, and basically it was just their lead was a blue like SUV with a white sticker. So I mean, it was kind of close, but like they pulled me over.
I mean, yeah, they kind of have to do that before.
I understand it. No, yeah, I totally get it. It was just wild. And so finally, like once they heard that, they're like, oh, okay. So they let me out, they uncuffed me, and they're like, oh, like, what's your name? What's your birthday? For some reason, like, if they want to send me a card or something. They never did.
Probably just said they could look you up in your system, make sure there's no, like, warrants out for your arrest.
Yeah, I guess so. And they were like, oh, okay, thanks. And they're like, well, you can go. And I was like, oh, and one of the guys was like, oh, at least you have a good story to tell. I was like, yeah, thanks. So I had to walk back.
Didn't they? One of the guys go up to you and asked, like, you know why we did this, right? Like,
yeah. No, they're like, you know we had to do this, right? And I was like, sure. I was like, let me go.
I guess you're cops. I know better.
Yeah, I wish I would have got a picture with him. If I wasn't just terrified in my mind trying to just go home.
Handcuffed and
I would have easily just got a picture just like to prove it, because like fucking nobody believed me.
No, you told everyone. I mean, I believed you. It's not like an unbelievable story.
If there's enough details, like there's no way I can make this up. But yeah, so I had to walk back to my car, pick up the keys I threw out my damn window. They didn't pick them up for me. And then we just,
the walk of shame to get the keys.
Then we just drove off. And then I had to tell my mom. I called her. She was like half asleep, and she was like, "Wait, what?" And no, I like woke her up when I got home, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I just got detained." And like I told her the story, and then she was like, "Wait, what?" And she like turned on the light, and I had to like explain everything to her, and like she was like, "Oh shit."
That would have been funny though, like if you actually did miss a day of school and then you came back like, "Sorry guys, back from jail."
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I wish they would have brought me in for questioning. That'd have been crazy. That'd have been so cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can answer. Like, were you at this Baskin Robbins?
Yeah,
like, no.
No.
Okay. Do you know anything about this big black guy that we were going out after? There was a bunch of gang activity. I'm like, no, I'm not in the gang.
I guess so. At the Safeway over there.
Yeah, didn't you get a sweatshirt after that said like Baskin Robbins?
Yeah, I got a shirt because so from the movie Ant-Man, there's a part in that where where one of the guys says, yeah, like Baskin Robbins, they always find out, and I was like, that's pretty funny. So I got that as a shirt.
And then named your Twitter name Blake's 31
Yeah, now my Twitter name is Blake's 31 Flavors.
That's not your Instagram name, though?
No, just Twitter.
Oh.
I got my Instagram before all that.
Oh, what is your Instagram?
For my hoodlum days. It's like Blake _ last name 28.
Oh. Even though you have your account tagged in your Instagram.
Yeah.
If they just went to our Instagram, they could find out.
Yeah. If they want to do the deep digging, they
grab your shovels, gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, deep digging as in going to our social media page and clicking on the link in the bio.
That we've linked with our podcast.
Link in bio. Speaking of that, we have wristbands.
Oh yeah, we bought some wristbands. If you want to buy them, they say Deep Thoughts Podcast with a little record button, and then it says grab your shovels.
And then they
glow in the dark. It's pretty good time.
So in case you're going clubbing,
if your power goes out and you don't have a spare flashlight, you can use one of our wristbands to light your way.
Yeah. Instead of grab your shovels, grab your flashlight.
Yeah. Grab your wristband. Grab your glow-in-the-dark wristband.
Grab your wristband. It's getting dark.
Yeah. So that's a time where I got detained. So that's probably the coolest thing.
Your criminal record.
Yeah.
Coming out on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, that we know of.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna segue. Do a little Paul Blart action. A little segue.
Yeah.
I thought of that for the last few days. Thought I'd bust it out.
That's good.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to bring up the BTQ. If you remember from the bonus episode, BTQ is Blake's Thinking Question, where I have an interesting question that we discuss, and it gets
last week
heated.
It involved John Cena, so go back and watch that episode.
Please.
Please, no one's watching it.
Yeah. So this is BTQ. So this is my question of the week, Zach.
Uh-huh.
Are Cheetos a chip? Do you classify Cheetos as chips?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, because they're in the chip section of stores.
Well, do you classify like Bugles as chips?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, what else would you classify them? I don't really think they're crackers.
I don't know. Well, I had this discussion with another of my friends.
This is a real deep thinking question.
Well, they said it'd fit into like the snack section.
That's so broad, though.
Exactly.
Well, then obviously they're a snack.
Yeah.
Does that count? If
yeah,
you
I
say
told
that
him.
they're a snack?
I said, well, cookies could be snacks. Like Cheetos
you can
are
say
like
anything's
cookies.
a snack
Exactly.
if you just take a small portion of a meal. That's a snack.
Yeah. I honestly thought you were gonna disagree with this because I also agree that Cheetos are chips.
No, I was gonna punch you in the face after you asked me such blasphemy.
I was about to quit this fucking show. I was about to take your wristband right off your wrist. Yeah, so I guess we both agree.
Anytime I think of Cheetos
chips.
now, I just think of Toy Story and the Cheetos guy,
Yeah,
Cheeto breath or
little
Cheeto
puffs,
fingers.
yeah.
That was so nasty. Anyway,
I like that scene.
Well, this is totally random. They made me think of grocery stores, and then
that was Blake's thinking question.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Well, I cut this accidentally out of the last podcast at the end.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I kind of thought of another customer service story. That's kind of funny. So basically, I was just starting at Yokes as a bagger. I was 16 years old.
Wait. You said where you worked. Is that okay?
I don't care.
Oh, okay. We'll bleep it out.
Yeah, we're not going to. I don't care. But yeah, I was like 16. I think it was my first week on the job, and some guy came up and I asked him what bag he wanted, and right as he was telling me what it was, I thought I heard someone call my name, like one of the managers or whatever. So I looked over, and so I didn't hear what he said. So I asked him again, and then he looked at me, and then he was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yes." Like, I don't know, am I bleeding or something? And then I was like, "What?" He's like, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yes." And he asked me how old I was, and I said I was 16. And he's like, well, you got enough time to get good at your job. And I was like, okay. And then he walked away. And then after that, for probably the next year or year and a half, until I became a checker, until I got promoted, like a couple of years later, well, maybe not that long. It might have just been like a year and a half. But anytime I was bagging and he came through my line, he would say to the checker, "Oh, Zach's still here, huh? I'm surprised you haven't fired him by now." And he said that probably like 5 times.
Jeez.
And I was just like so hurt by it. And I'm never going to forget that.
Yeah.
And then eventually I think I just proved him wrong because he stopped saying that when I was a checker and he just going through my line and just said, "Hey, Zach, how's it going?"
Gosh, what an asshole.
Yeah, I know. No, and he was a real dick to like everybody too, because I remember when I was a checker and then I had a bagger with me and he got mad at her for saying "no problem" and stuff, "thank you." And he's like, "You don't say no problem, you say thank you." And then she's just like, okay. I'm just like, oh my god, get over yourself. You're not that important.
Shit, that's ridiculous.
Just trying to do something nice and you have to be a dick about it. I hate people like that. They get so like set off by such little things. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I don't know. People are just so...
You're still going to come back to the store anyway. I've seen you so many times. It's not like this is going to stop you from
We
going.
own you, man.
Yeah. We have all the
Best
groceries you want and
in
the
town.
groceries you need.
Exactly. Yeah, I always think it's weird and just see like little kind acts for somebody and like... Or like someone does a kind act and like... I mean, I try to say thank you, but like if it's not a big deal, I just don't say anything. And then like... They just like give you like a little just like like why don't you say thank you?
Oh my god,
like,
this sets me off so much when you hear about like athletes donating like a bunch of money and then like, well, they should be because they couldn't have donated more because they make like it's like some athlete, for example, "Oh, we donated $1 million to like this fund or whatever," and like, "Oh, well, he makes like $35 million a year. You could have donated more than that." And I'm like, dude, you're not donating anybody, let alone $1 million. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah. Gosh.
I don't know why there's like this so much scrutiny against athletes for some reason. I mean, people
just...
always say like, they always say like firefighters and cops are not making $36 million a year. Why can't they? And then have the athletes be making like 50 grand. I'm like, dude, do you know how much like, fucking money that would be?
Exactly. It's like
money would be worthless if we
work.
paid that. Like, could you imagine how high taxes would be because they're a government funded like job?
Yeah.
Taxes would be like 90%. All that would be going to police officers.
The people that
that'll really cure that police and citizen tension by raising their salaries, each person up to $40 million.
If we would have had that a few years ago, I would have never got detained.
I know. I just always love that the first reply is like, do you even economics, bro? Like, have you ever heard of the term like economics?
It's
like,
so stupid. It's just ridiculous. Just like athletes and another like a lot of other just like celebrities. Like they're not allowed to speak up on like
stick to acting or whatever. You could stick to being a grocery store worker.
just like the shut up and dribble. Like that really pissed me off because like I've taken like I'm a sport management major, so I've taken so many just sport like ethics classes and all that stuff, and like we've talked about just like how ridiculous it is that like if an athlete says like, "Oh, well, I think about this for like a political issue," then people are just like, "Shut up! Like you're a basketball player. What do you know?" It's like so since they're an athlete, they can't have real
most of them went to college. They have to go to college at least 1 year, and most of these people that are telling them to shut up don't have very much schooling experience.
Yeah, well, it's just like every person has the right to have an opinion. Just because like you're an athlete doesn't
just
mean...
because you make a bunch of money doesn't mean that...
Yeah, your opinion's worthless.
Yeah.
It's like, you make a lot of money, what do you care? It's like, well, I mean, they're just like, well, my kids have to grow up in this society. They're like, fuck your kids. Fuck you, LeBron. It's like, jeez.
What about my kids?
Yeah, what about my no kids? I live alone. I'm 50 years old. What about me?
Yeah, what about my opinion? Mine's better than yours, LeBron, if that is your real name.
I live off of unemployment. Fuck you, LeBron.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I just hate all that shit. I just hate all that, just angry at everything, and everything's under so much scrutiny on social media. Like,
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was like, I should probably just stop scrolling through Facebook, but I just can't.
I've stopped looking at
like,
Facebook.
I should stop looking at these comments because all they're doing is pissing me off, and then I'm like, oh, next comment section, let's see what train wreck this is. I hardly ever leave comments unless it's just something so ridiculous where I have to say something.
I never say anything.
I probably leave like 2 Facebook comments a year.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to get involved, because most of the time people are so stuck in their ways where there's no point in even arguing with them, because you'll present them with facts, but they'll be like, I don't care.
They're just so closed-minded, especially sports. People are so closed-minded in sports. It's like, well, even like women's sports. Like, if you ever see like any women's highlight on ESPN, it's just like, get back in the kitchen, bitch. It's like, shut up. Like, gosh, these people are like so athletic and like so talented, and you guys are just a bunch of dicks. Like, gosh, like we watched one of my classes. Like, we watched a documentary about like how women are treated in sports and how they just like sexualized and stuff. And then like this one women's basketball player would always get like, she'd go to the rec to practice, and then all the guys would be like, hey, like 1v1 me or whatever, because they think they could just like kick her ass, and she just shit on him every single time, and she just. But like, I also
I also don't get the argument that we're like, why do WNBA players make so much less than the NBA players? I'm like, because there's a little less of a market.
That's like an entertainment based thing, but like. I mean, women's soccer, I'd rather watch them than our shit men's team. Gosh,
at least there's
make the World
something
Cup
for USA. I mean, I don't even watch soccer anyway. I'm just not a really big fan. But at least if the USA was in it, I could be like, yeah, go America.
I love the World Cup. The World Cup's easily like.
Do you have a team this year?
I don't give a fuck about this year, but I mean, like when USA's in it, I freaking love the World Cup. I follow everything.
Is Canada in it?
No, Mexico's in it, but they lost today. Yeah, to Brazil. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the FIFA Soccer Podcast.
Yeah, we're changing the name, and I know nothing about soccer. Yeah, well, I think we're coming up on 51 minutes. So
wow, that's pretty good.
I think this is good enough. What do you think, Blake? Is that good enough?
Is
that good enough for you?
I guess I'm never satisfied.
All right, I think we're just gonna wrap this up then.
Okay, well,
so thanks for listening to episode 3, part 2.
We're not gonna title it. Yeah,
episode 3.
Yeah.
We'll try and find a good, funny thumbnail.
We'll just do Doc or something.
Doc, yeah. Well, you'll see what it is when you click on it.
Yeah, please click on this.
Yeah, please.
If you made it this far, thank you very much. Tell your friends. If you want a wristband, let us know.
DM us.
Yeah, we could sell it to you. I'll just give you one if you want. But yeah, so just you hit us up. Thank you for listening, and thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Thoughts Podcast.
I hope you listen.
Wait, we have to high five.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of... Yeah. Okay, we're going to high five on congratulating us on finishing another podcast. This is a lot of effort that we're putting into this.
Yeah, no, I always get really tired after finishing these.
Yeah.
Like time for bed.
Yeah, okay. Well, so... okay, Deep Thoughts Podcast.